Plaintiff Jean Lambeth says her sister committed suicide last year due to her addiction to prescription drugs, and she claims the defendant was her sister's main supplier, and she has the pill bottles to prove it. Jean is suing the defendant for a phone bill, lost wages, and personal property. Defendant Danielle Chapman and her husband Russell say the only reason Danielle's pill bottles were found at Jean's sister's house is because she stole them from Danielle. Danielle feels she's only suing because she's angry that Danielle was the beneficiary of her sister's life insurance, and she's countersuing for urns, funeral jewelry, and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, my sister passed away December 12th.
Sorry to hear that.
2008. This was largely because of her prescription drug problem. Danielle is a fair weather friend. She was the main source of my sister's prescription drugs.
That's a pretty inflammatory thing to say. Is that true?
Your Honor,
no,
I have
not
Quiet,
true.
ma'am.
Sorry.
That is absolutely not true.
Okay. You have what?
I have just a few of the prescription
Is her
drug
name
bottles.
on it?
Yes, sir. And there's several that were found in my sister's possession.
Ma'am?
For those, that would probably be sometime when I would be at her house and throw something in the trash, or if she had something and asked me if I had an extra bottle to put into it. Like if she got it from somewhere and she'd be like, hey, you have a bottle that I can...
Somewhere other than the pharmacy?
Yes.
Yeah, she had a problem.
Street drugs? Is
Yes.
that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And this is one of your best friends?
Yes, she was like a mother to me.
Okay.
And
Did you know
that,
where she was getting her street drugs?
There were certain people that I did know, yes.
Okay. And can either of these drugs be used for getting high? Soma.
Yes, they can.
Okay. So they can be used for getting high. She says you were using these to give to her sister to get high. She says this is evidence. You say the reason you left these things at the home is because you wanted to throw them away.
Yeah, well, there could have been times that I was...
Let me ask you, why did you carry these around empty?
It would be like if I had I have Motrin in them, you know what I mean?
And you carried empty things.
No, that's what I'm saying is if I was out, like if I took a Motrin or something and threw it away.
Threw what away?
The bottles when I was done
But you didn't
with them.
throw these away. And you threw them away at her house. That means if you didn't live with her, or did you? Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
If you didn't live with her, that means you had to carry these empty, to carry them around, and when you got to her house, you say, well, can I use your garbage? I've been carrying these things around, and I can't find any garbage to throw them in. Can I use yours?
Okay, no,
What?
if I had those
Let me
pill
let you
bottles in
tell.
my purse and it was empty, we were at her house,
I
I'd
heard
be
that
clear.
part,
Yes,
ma'am.
and I would throw it in the trash.
That's your story. You sticking with it. Very good. All right, ma'am. You say that she supplied drugs, and this is your evidence to prove such.
Well,
what else?
Your Honor, I also have a police report saying they found pill bottles and mixed pills with her belongings there. I have a coroner's report that says her abuse of prescription drugs, and what was actually found in her system, it was not enough to kill her. Her body had just gotten where it gave out.
Couldn't take it anymore. What type of medicines?
It's Vicodin and Soma. Soma was the main thing I had a problem with.
Found.
And she ended up going to rehab. Every time some of these things happen, I would call Danielle and I'd say, listen, if you don't stop, I'm going to call the cops. Then she'd tell my sister and we would start a fight. So I feel really bad, Your Honor, because there towards the last month.
Your Honor, that's not true.
I had backed off because we've had so many losses in our family, and so I had backed off, and I'm sorry I did because now look at where it's gotten. And here's the note my sister left. Tell Jeannie my phone number. Tell Ron. Tell Danielle she has the global life insurance. Tell everyone else I'm sorry. I've asked God to forgive me. Tell my boy I am sorry. Can't live, won't live homeless. I ask God to forgive me. Tell Danny I just couldn't do it slow. Everything I own, I leave to all of you. My Josh and Caitlin, that's her grandchildren. I ask, please forgive me. Show this to no one. as it will not pay. Casper, make sure Lori gets her money and her phone. So I found that, and yes, Your Honor, there's things I was angry about. I lost my sister. I mean, and it could have been prevented. She didn't need to die.
Okay. If you would, let me allow her to give some background on this, and then we'll get back to the things you're suing her for. Ma'am?
Okay, regarding the pills, when I had realized that there was a big problem with Jerry having a pill problem, I stopped talking to her in October. I told her I cannot deal with it anymore. I had realized that she had stolen some pill bottles out of my house. I didn't really want to go there with the pill thing today because she's not here to defend herself. She did have a problem. A lot of people contributed to the problem. And there had been times that, like, say she was out of her medication. If she asked me, because I had Vicodin, if she asked me, do you have a couple that I can have, I would give them to her. And then when she got her, she would give them back to me.
Ma'am, you can continue trying to convince me that you did not intentionally provide her with drugs, but I won't believe you. I am convinced that you did, based on the evidence that I have and based on your response. You want to move on to anything else about the background?
All this has come about because she's had quite a problem because I was the beneficiary of the life insurance.
You are the beneficiary of her sister's life insurance?
Yes, she's had quite a problem that I was the beneficiary. She was unaware of it at first.
Probably hurt her feelings.
Is that true?
Your Honor, I was
Is she the beneficiary?
Yes, she is.
Do you have a problem with it?
No, I did not.
I don't believe that. Go ahead.
Her and her sister, the reason being for that is because of prior situations that had happened with people passing away in the family, like her father, for instance, which I have evidence showing how she was a step.
Whatever the reason was, ma'am, it happened. I'm not going to allow you to delve into what has happened in her family in the past, because that is not quite relevant. Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me what you're suing about.
She had told me when she called me on Sunday before all of this took place that she could not get enough time off work. And if I would handle the funeral arrangements, because it was down by where we closed, because that's where we did all our family. So here's the phone bill.
Tell me how she owes you for the phone bill.
Because when I got the phone bill, Your Honor, and all these excess charges, she told me that when she got the insurance money, she would pay me back for those.
She told you that?
Yes, sir. I had to do all the calling to cancel her accounts.
So why would she pay for the phone
because all her calls, these are 733 calls from her and back and forth. Yes,
to
sir.
You?
Yes,
okay,
and
that's what I'm saying.
Back.
Obviously, she was making calls
to me and back and forth.
And you were charged.
Yes, sir.
For receiving the calls.
Yes, because it was on my cell phone, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see that, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor. Yes, I did.
Did you agree to pay her for the calls you were making to her cell phone?
No, I did not agree to pay her for that.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Anyway, Your Honor, and then, and of course, the week off work. I took my own money and I paid for the notary. I paid for the police report. But
did she agree to pay for all these?
No, I did not.
Yes, she did, Your Honor. Because
why? Why would she?
Your Honor, because I sit there and I had to go pick these things up. I had to pick up the police report from the because the insurance company needed it.
Why would she have been responsible for any of that?
Well, Your Honor, because
I can see where if she's calling your phone, running up your bill.
Your Honor, she knows.
Why would she agree to pay for all these other things?
Because, Your Honor, she received, I have no problem with her being the beneficiary, but I know my sister would not want me to be financially in debt.
Because she received the insurance money.
Because she told me she'd reimburse me, Your Honor, at the time. She actually, she knew my phone bill. She called my phone company trying to get them to knock down.
I believe she would agree to reimburse you if she receive the insurance money, because insurance money typically first addresses the deceased obligations and the burial, and then the rest is kept by the beneficiary. So I believe she told you she'd pay for these things. What else?
Okay, and then when we went and picked up the furniture from my sister's apartment, Danielle had gotten her a couple of her friends for trucks because it was up in Apple Valley. And we took the refrigerator that was my dad's, the bunk beds and the dresser and the computer desk and put it in her garage, which she told me would be safe there, no problem.
Still there?
No, I got a text saying that she was going to that she sold the refrigerator. And that is when I filed the small claims. I did not file that.
Have you gone to probate court?
No, Your Honor, she had nothing besides those little items. And if your estate is only worth so much, you don't have to go. I have
pictures.
Hold on. You don't have to go.
You don't have to go. That was what I was
If you
told.
want to, if there's a disagreement regarding the assets,
And there was,
that's the only place to go. Are you claiming to be entitled to any of that?
The only thing that I have at my residence that she did not give me herself was the refrigerator.
Okay.
I still have the refrigerator.
So you had those things before the sister's death?
No. But see, after
so
we
you
moved,
got them after the death?
Yes, we moved them. My friends helped me.
And she said before she died that you could have them.
No, Jeannie gave them to me.
Okay, ma'am. And you say you did not?
No, I did not. I left them in her garage, and then
Why do you think she changed her mind and is suing you?
The only thing I can think of is because of the life insurance, and she's just wanting money. I mean, I have proof.
We offered her money for the numerous things, like the dresser for my son's room.
And I have
Why would you
statements.
offer her money for it?
Because she
wanted to sell them.
She was going to sell them, and
Well,
I
you
offered
just
her.
said she gave it to you. Let's
offered-
move on. What else? What lost wages does she owe you for, and how?
I went ahead and I called off work from 12/14, 12/20 because my boss knew that this was, I couldn't leave work when I found out. But anyway, he said it was okay. And because of her agreement to pay me for the lost wages, I'm only claiming
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to conclude this is a meritorious claim, and as such, you were to be in court, and when there's and you're suing her.
Your Honor, my lost wages isn't for coming to court. My lost wages are for when I took off work to handle the funeral services and get Danny out of.
You want money for taking off to handle your sister's funeral.
I wouldn't normally.
You want her to pay you for taking off to handle your sister's arrangements. I'm going to have to revisit some of this stuff that I concluded she was lying about. For someone to have that mindset. Your counterclaim is $3,004 for urns, funeral jewelry,
for her for the
and emotional distress. Now you want to take the jury off the woman's neck. Tell me what's this about,
okay,
man.
No.
Tell me what's this about,
okay,
man.
No. The jewelry that I'm suing for is urns that we purchased with the life insurance from the mortuary for the deceased grandchildren. Jewelry, like, you know how you pick out urns? Well, they had jewelry that we ordered for the grandchildren.
That has her ashes
That has her ashes in it.
How does she owe you?
Because she still possesses those. And they were paid by the life insurance policy that I was in charge of.
And why do you think you should have them?
Well, actually, I'm not going to keep them. I'm going to give them to her grandchildren and where they go.
All right. You purchased it on behalf of the grandchildren, right?
Yes, and I have a letter from their mom.
When you purchased it on the behalf of the grandchildren, it became ownership. Possession and ownership of those children. You no longer owned it.
So
you didn't own it. You never owned it. You purchased it for them.
So then now we need to have them go to court and take her to court to get it from
Correct. If what you say is true.
Yes, it is.
Emotional distress, how does she owe you for that?
She has called welfare fraud on me when I'm not even on welfare. I sent them over to
Let's
my
see
house.
some evidence.
Right here. They didn't give me the statement, but I do have the card.
You have the business card.
Yes, and they.
All
yes.
right.
You're on.
1,500, 250, 100, and 100. That's the personal property.
1950.
And then we have to add in the phone bill, $968.
$29.18.
That's your judgment, ma'am. $2,918. All your claim is dismissed, ma'am. Have a good day.
I think the reason is basically that why they didn't get along is because Jerry's son, there was a tragedy and Jerry's son, accidentally killed her son. And after that, it's just been, I think she blamed Jerry for it when it wasn't her. It was her son,
That is so not true. I paid $55,000 to represent him, and I stood beside my sister, and I've got the bills.
No,
I've got the checks to pay.
You sued the house insurance.
Because that's another story. How dare them bring it up? And this is why the only time me and my sister didn't get along is when I had to pick her up off the floor because of the soma that I've had checks to prove that she kept selling her.
You have checks to prove that.
Hey, you know what?
That's
God
true.
will get
Yes,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, you should pull up your arms and show your track marks on your arms, right?
You know what? You
How does it feel?
You will.
How does it feel?